So you can imagine the basics of a basic. It wasn't too complicated, right? That when they changed my bank account, no one ever told me, for instance. So that should have been the first thing is, right, that's an unusual request. There should be somewhere here that it's stating that. Okay, any questions, comments before we begin? Okay, so let me just tell you a couple of things here. Did I talk about Steemit last time? Yes, no? Okay, remember we talked a little bit about blockchain? So the idea of blockchain is, with the first application of blockchain was what? Was Bitcoin, right? And we talked the idea that it was a distributed ledger that was immutable. What does immutable mean? That you can erase it. And what we talked about, remember we talked about peer-to-peer operation. And we told you that there's a number of companies now trying to set up what we call ICOs. What's an ICO? Initial coin offering. Right? That people are trying to do that and using blockchain technology. There's one company that's called Steemit.com, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to do a coin offering where they will give credit for blogging. So if you set up an account with them and other people, and their idea is other people approve it, you get raised and vote on it, the best articles or the best blogs will go to the top, and they will share in coins. So I set up a Steemit account called Steemit.com/@thepsycho. So when you think about me, think about the psycho, Psycho, right? And at the psycho, and the first article there is what? Our broadcast. So anytime you want to see now what's happening in class, you can go to Steemit.com/@thepsycho and just go to the top, and that's what's broadcasted, right? Crazy, huh? So anyways, well, you can set up an account too on that and respond. So we have a number of things on the blog that I'm just trying out. So you can see here that anytime I'm just going to put then our account there. Okay? Let's do some housekeeping chores before. Anybody do under assignments? Anybody do quiz 2? TG2? There was an issue with that. It's the same questions, and did I get any feedback from it? One of the things is, no one got extra credit for that to give me feedback that it's the same questions. So one of the things is, what? Hello?
I just assumed that I'd already taken it, that I was just doing it again.
Okay.
I was like, oh, I did this. Well,
Right, okay, so let me make that available. So let me make TG, I'll do this, but let me make TG2A available to you. I'm going to edit the test options. So folks, along with it, you need to give me feedback, right? And what do I have to do? I have to make the link available. I'll give you multiple attempts, and we will submit. Do you see it? And let me go into it so you don't waste one of yours. And I'm going to go, this is the TG2 that's available, and then the TG2A. And if I continue, notice that this is talking about software, the difference between systems and application, proprietary software, type of system software, right? And we have 10 questions there. So put that in your notes then. For next time, we'll do that 2 2GA, right here. I'm going to, since it's the same, I'm going to make this, edit the test options. I'm going to make the link available. I'm going to say no. So we don't have issues here, and I'm going to submit. So this way it's not confusing, and we should have then TG2A, and we should have 4. And the next one for next week is I'm going to do chapter 5. So let me make that available, which is data. And in data, make the link available. I'm going to say yes and submit. So we have 1, 4, 5, and 2. The other thing on web links, I'm going to go to Miami.edu. You can do that as well. And I'm going to go to Lynda. Lynda. Anybody hear about Lynda before? Lynda is an online library of technical topics, and it costs thousands of dollars to subscribe to a lot of these. How much do we get it for? What do I love?
Free things.
Free. This is free. And as students, you get it free. So one of the things about TOP is, and when you're going to be working on your projects or you want to learn more, you can put in, for instance, I looked at what they had, and one of the things, for instance, I can put in, for instance, I want to figure out more about blockchain. I search, and you can see here, beyond basics, blockchain basics here, examples of blockchain action, birth of blockchain of Bitcoin, thinking of the future. You can see here they have beyond the basics, securing the IoT. What is IoT? Internet of Things. Learn the IoT vulnerabilities, privacy concerns, data science, learning Bitcoin with Tom Geller. We'll tell you about Tom Geller, show more. This is just things, learning Bitcoin related topics. So you can see, those of you that are interested possibly in learning more about programming can type that as well. You can do beginner, advanced. It leaves you off on where you're going. So this is a nice program. Again, many times what they don't do a good enough job, I think, is showing you what's available for you and why do I need this. So once we get into it, I'll show you in terms of blockchain how that's working. What else? Anything else that I need to do? I've put NinjaTrader in the lab. So those of you that were having issues and they installed it in the lab, and who was telling me that they had it, they found it and it didn't work? Yes, so Priscilla, so one of the, I've talked to them tonight and hopefully they'll get it up and running. One of the things that you can think about is communication. Many of you are not going to even be in terms of possibly programmers, but you're going to have to be dealing with IT. One of the things that we see over and over again is that collaboration and that feedback of what's happening, what didn't go wrong. So they gave me a feedback that they've installed the software on all the machines. I said, even do a few machines, right? And they were so gracious and generous and said, we installed NinjaTrader 7, we've installed NinjaTrader 8, it's on all the machines, and what's the problem? Bryn, what's the problem? Who tried to use it?
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work, right? So they're really, so what happened is they installed it, but what was step 2 is open it up to see if it works. It sounds simple, doesn't it? And why would that have a problem, right? And of course it had a problem. So one of the things that I want to make sure is that you realize that that will be an issue. So hopefully you'll give me feedback during the week. If there's issues, we can go back to them and we can install it again. Let's do this. What's the difference, and you can put this in your notes today, we're going to cover, is what's the difference between an indicator versus a strategy. Everybody understand the question? Stella, what's the question?
Sorry, I didn't get it. Can you repeat it, please?
Yeah. Priscilla, what's the question?
It's an indicator versus a strategy.
Yeah, what's the difference between an indicator versus a strategy in automated trading systems? You have an idea, William?
Wasn't like an indicator, like it lets you know when something happened, and like a strategy is actually like inputting, like, I don't know, like an algorithm to
Okay.
trade.
Blake, what do you think?
An indicator is it generates signal, and strategy is a systematic way to make a decision to profit from that signal.
Okay. Basically, let's think about it. Everybody know Excel?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll do next time we'll do some work similar to this in Excel. But think about this Excel and think about a function. What's a function in Excel? But what else is a function in Excel? What functions do you know in Excel?
You mean like a formula?
Yeah, like a formula, a built-in formula. A built-in formula is a function in Excel. So you can put that in your notes. A built-in formula is a function in Excel. So you can think about an indicator. If I was going to be answering an indicator is similar to a built-in function. So now I'm going to, when I'm going to Ninja Trader right here, I'm going to skip this. And a strategy is a combination, could be, of indicators with logic to buy and sell. A strategy could be one or more indicators combined with logic, having the computer buy or sell. Automated trading system. So an indicator alone can give me, for instance, what Blake said, it can give me a signal, and an automated trading system will allow me to buy and sell. So, let's do this. Let me close everything. And I'll start with my control panel, right? I'm on my control center. So what's the first thing? I need to get my data. I need to connect to my data. So what's the first thing that I need to do? Can we get this so I can see we can make sure that we see the top of the control center. So what's the first thing I need to do? I need to connect. So what's the first thing I need to do, Lindsay?
To get what?
I need, you see here, my control center, I need to connect to live data. So if I go to the file, where should I go when I want to connect to live data? Huh?
The net.
Wow. And I want to go to end of day free data. Where should I go? end of data, and how much does it cost?
You like free things.
I like free things, especially since we don't know what is good enough, right? Later on, I like to pay for things that are good, but if we're just practicing, we don't even know what we want, why pay for it? Later on, we'll pay for it. Okay, now how do I know I'm connected? It says I'm connected. So I'm connected to end of day data, and now I want to go to a new chart. So if I want to go to a new chart here, Estella, what should I do? I want to go to a new chart. New, beautiful. And I want to go to a chart. Chart. And if I go to a chart, then I can pick any one that I want. Later on, we'll even forecast. Maybe next time I'll even forecast. We can even forecast some cryptocurrencies and different ones. But let's even start. It doesn't even matter. Let's start with. I'll start with my Dow. Right? We'll do BA. BA is what? It was Boeing, we said. And in order to get this into the bottom of my box there, what do I need to do? I need to go to new. So I have new here. I have my BA daily. And you can see I need to make sure that my day is type. And now what should I do to say that I want this? What should I do, Priscilla? Okay, perfect. So I have my okay. I know that I'm daily. I have it up here where it says daily, right? I know that I have daily. And I know right here, it looked like it was going here, and here it was like, looks like it was going a little choppy. I don't know if it's going down or so forth. And I had before, I have strategies. And I said my strategies were ways in which to combine indicators to make automatically have the computer buy and sell. The computer does the buy and sell. Sometimes it will allow me to do things, but that's what we're looking at right now. And for me to go to strategies, I'm going to go to hover over here, and I see my strategies, and I have some built-in ones. I can write my own, or I can export some of the other ones that I find. And my idea is, what do we use for the sample? We use sample. MA stands for what? Anybody remember what MA stands for? Moving average. So I have a sample moving average, and I have two of those. So I have two sample moving averages, one that I call fast, and the other one's called slow. Fast then is at 10 days, slow is at 25. And I want to enable this chart, so what do I need to do if I want to enable? Priscilla, what do I need to do if I want to enable? What's it now at? Priscilla. Enable is set now to what?
False.
False. And what do I want to do if I want to enable it?
True.
Set it to true. So I'm going to set this to true. And I want to apply it, so what should I press? Apply. And it says that my order has been incurred, confirmed, and I say okay. And then I just say okay here. And now I have this area where I look at is what? I have two lines here. I have a gold here, and I have this solid green here. And I have my slow and my fast here. And if I look at this gold line here, and I just press on it and right click to look at properties, this is my slow here of 10 days, and at this point this SMA has a color, for instance, an orange. If I wanted to change that color, all I would have to do is go down to here and change the colors. Doesn't matter, but I could do it. I have on 25. Notice that solid green. It tells me about that solid green. Now I have these little dots here. These little dots mean what? Bryn, what does these little green dots mean? Is that going to be I made money or I lost money?
The green is made, the red is lost.
So here, from this point, it says, go ahead at this point, the green is below, crosses below, or the yellow we can think it crosses above. It says buy, right? At 100 at 239, and it says sell at 266. So the beginning I bought it at 239. The computer bought it at 239, and it sold it at 266. Bryn, did I make a profit? Yes. So I have it at this point. I made a profit. I go further back, and it looks like it pretty went up too, right, Bryn? Here I bought it, and here I sold it. One at 187 and sold it. So I pretty much, this algorithm looks like it works, but right here, it says sell short. Do you see this, Blake? It says sell short here. And then it sold at 176 and got out at 178 higher. So it looked like it went down, but I stayed in it too long. So did I make money or lose money? If it's dotted red, I lost. But my losses seem to be less than my ones that I have. So I can do a performance report. You remember, I can do that strategy performance in the MA in historical and real time. So at this point, what I can tell you, Allie, is if you got all zeros, is one is make sure it says daily.
It did.
Okay.
It did everything.
What-
So you watched your screencasting and did exactly the same.
What company?
I think IBM maybe. Everything.
We
says
tried two
zero.
companies.
Okay, so we'll go through it together. We'll stay together and we'll do it. And then you can even do it on my computer.
Okay.
So I'll use TeamViewer and you can do it on mine and we'll finish up the whole thing. Okay, we'll be a group. I'm in everybody's group, okay? So anybody that needs help, I'll just help you in terms of the group. Okay, so I have here historical and real time, I have it. Now, this was a strategy. Now the question is, Blake, what are indicators? And put those of you that are doing it with me, and those not, it's okay. You see here where I have my little cursor and it says indicator? And now these are all my indicators that I have. And some of these we may even know. So let me go to regression channel. Who's ever heard of regression? Right? Basically what my regression channel, if I do regression channel here, I calculate it here and I say, what should I do if I want to insert this into the lower box? What do I always do? Priscilla, what do I always do? New. I always do new. And now I'm going to say apply or okay. Let me just move this over. And you see here, these two blue lines? This is my regression channel. So what people are going to look for the indicators is, what do you think, Blake? In this regression channel here, what would people look for?
Any outbreaks?
Any outbreaks. You see how this broke out of this one in this top here? And this is my support and my resistance here. And then they possibly could look outside of this. Okay, so that's one. The other one, you see here on indicator, let me go further and look for something that's called R squared. And I want to have R squared. I'm going to do new, and I'm going to do 2R squared. You can put it in your notes there. I want to do in indicators for 2R squared.
And what does that do?
I'll show you. R squared shows me in some ways how confident I am of my predictions. And R square ranges from 0 to 1. You can put it in your notes here that I can think about it. R square ranges from 0 to 1. 1 is 100%, 0 is less. Now what I want to do, I got 2 of these, and what I can do here is I just moved the R square, one of those, on top of my strategy. So R square is an indicator, and if I can interpret my indicators, then I can write a strategy to tell the computer when to buy and when to sell. So now we got to figure out what's happening here. On the very bottom, it means what? It's going to be close to 0. On the very top, it's going to be more confident. So I want to look for a pattern of what happened. So let's look at patterns. Let's go back a bit. And this looks like I got in here when it was pretty high, and and notice when it was low here it seemed to reduce. And then when did I get out? I got out when it came to buy. What did it seem to do? Was R square going down or was it going up? What do you think, Marcel? It was going down. So it may be, based on looking at some of these, let's look at the one that I lost money on. Where did when I lost money, like here, it may be, notice that I bought it at a time high, and when did I lose? It could be when the R square was going up. So maybe my rule could be, when my R square is declining after it reaches the peak, then I would possibly sell. Or when it's rising, then I can possibly sell. So what happened?
They had to uninstall them and reinstall them because Ninja Trader is blocked by the firewall and it needs an admin password. So it's all good now.
So it works.
Yeah.
So after this class, and how do you know that it works well?
We tested them all.
Okay. And did you actually try it with a company?
I
The chart?
didn't do all that, but we tested 8 words before, so I don't know.
But did
But
7?
7 words now.
Okay. So, and when does the lab close, do you know?
I have no idea.
We'll go over it, and we'll check it out. Okay, I appreciate it. So now, when I go to buy here, I can do my algorithm. So this is an indicator that I can go on top of this. And then I can do my strategy performance, historical, and real time. I export it to Excel.
I got to that and then everything said 0.
We'll see. We'll do it together. It will.
Right.
It'll work. One little thing, right? And then we'll be able, at this point, I have my long, right? I have my long trades. Let me just close this. I don't need this, right? Remove those files. And I have my long, I have all my trades, right? I have my short trades. These are the ones that I basically could do. So what could I do with my algorithm at this time? This has given me how much per month? What was my average per month here? Do I see it? Help me out. Am I not seeing it? Profit per month, 5%, pretty good, right? In my longs, it made 6%, and my shorts, it made 0.29. So what could I do with my strategy to improve it? Everybody understand what the question is? Nick, what's the question?
Can you improve your strategy?
Right. What could I do? for this stock, for instance? Give me an idea. Am I profitable on my longs, on my buys? Okay, so let me just show you. So am I profitable then in my longs? So am I profitable? If I were profitable, then am I profitable in my longs? What do you think? Estelle, am I profitable in my longs? Let's see. Am I profitable in my longs? So what's my longs here? Profit per month. What do you see it now, Nick? What do I got?
4.99%.
Right, and what do I got in my longs?
5.95.
Right, and then in my, and what did I get in my, if I looked in my, and what did I get in my shorts here is it became negative here. It was like 0.25 negative. So and in this case, my largest losing trades here, I had it. So what I want to be able to do then.
Why is this information helpful? What would you need it for?
Why is this information? I need to know how. First, let me ask someone else, and then I'll answer. Why is this information helpful? Why would I want to know how well this strategy did? Nick.
You can see where you're more successful and put more money there.
Right, I could see how well my strategy worked.
Why can't you just use a stockbroker?
Why can't I use a stockbroker? I could use a stockbroker.
It's more simple.
And a stock, it would be simpler, but the question becomes, what if I can get, you may want to get then strategies, your stockbroker then may want to use some of these different strategies rather than just picking from the air. So what happens here is there's a group of people that create these strategies, and then they have the computer then doing the buying and the selling. So it's not that you personally would possibly create these strategies, but you know what's behind these strategies to do the improvements. So if the stockbroker, for instance, was giving you 1% a month, and another strategy was giving you 2% a month, or 3%, or 5% a month, then what some people are doing is they're having other people subscribe to their strategies. So pay me a certain percentage or a certain fee, and you can run, for instance, my strategy. So a number of brokerage houses, that broker, what is he telling you to invest in, is basically sometimes from their company, they have strategies, and basically you're investing in a number of strategies, and then they change each time. So what happens in this fintech area is, I'm showing you, is what is it to take to do simple strategies, and then they become more complex. And that you have the idea, this is called, remember software development? This is an area of software development where they have a number, remember when I talked about quant traders, there are people here where she was, for instance, talking, the CISO, we're talking about 150,000 K for someone to be a chief security officer. They're starting off, the quant traders, with 250K plus getting commissions. You would get a percentage if your strategies were profitable. So this is where it's going in terms of that idea of we would have the software being as an advisor and helping. Does that answer your question? Yes, Blake.
For these robo-advisors, though, they
Yeah.
don't actually generate any alpha. Like, the majority of them, they're just optimization techniques that utilize, like, minimize the variance of the portfolio that you're
Right.
constructing. So, to say that, like, I don't know, that you can beat the market using a...
I'm not saying that you can beat the market, but I'm just showing you that what's behind it. I'm not saying that you can, in any ways, that a lot of times you can't beat it. A lot of times these strategies are unsuccessful, and sometimes these strategies, what they're able to do is for certain periods of time, for short periods of time, or they're good when the market is going up and everybody's going up, then they're doing well. Sometimes for certain sectors, they're doing well, and for short periods of time. But by no means am I saying that this is a panacea. Good point. So, and next week we'll do the same. We'll do similar things in Excel. So, in the strategy, historical strategy, real-time performance, once you have it in Excel, you can then save it with the date, which is 2/12/2018, the company name, and then you can save your report. And then what you want to do is compare by date and see if you're still making money, and then try it via other companies. Questions? Yes.
So next Monday, are we having a test? For
I'm going to go over that with you right now. So
It's
what
not
I,
next week, though, right?
what?
Our test is not next week.
No.
It's in 2
So-
weeks.
Let me just go over
We should
the,
just cancel it.
we're not going to cancel it, but we'll take time. So what I want to do with the exam, let's talk about that. So let's we'll do the exam March 5th.
March 5th.
We'll do the exam March 5th, Monday, March 5th.
It's online, you said?
What? No, I'm going to talk about it. We're going to do it March 5th. So next week we'll go over material on the 26th. You can put this in your notes there. On the 26th of February, I'll spend a good part of the session on reviewing for the exam. So what I want is that everyone do well. So, and I don't want it to be surprises. There'll be 2 parts to the exam. There'll be a part that's multiple choice, similar to the quizzes, and there'll be another part that will be open-ended. There'll be we'll go over more on exact questions for the open-ended, but I can give you an example for 2 types of open-ended question. One is on blockchain, and what's the other one? On automated trading systems. The differences between indicators versus strategies. We'll be looking at the idea of, let me go back to the control plan. How do I see the source code? In NinjaTrader, how do I see the source code? What is the source code called in NinjaTrader? What is the source code called in NinjaTrader? Ninja script. Do you remember when we talked about scripting languages like JavaScript? We talk about software. We have a NinjaTrader, which is just a version of Java or in Windows called C#. And we can edit the Ninja script, and notice we have an indicator or a strategy. You could even write your own indicator here, which usually people don't need to do, or you could do your strategy. That you could see as well. This is called source code. Put it in your notes. This is called source code. And the source code has a combinations of indicators, and one of the indicators is called what? What's it called? SMA, that stands for simple moving average. Now, did we go over this code? So if I started with this line here, each line of this statement ends in a semicolon, but you really can read it. So Leia, you could really read it. We could even start from, instead of left to right, we could start from right to left, which meant what? This was what, Leia? What does it say? The color's orange of which SMA? The fast. And the color is what? Green of the SMA. And you remember how we could have changed the colors? Remember before I showed you colors? They were doing it. So basically it's saying go ahead and add this SMA indicator, and this part is the logic. And Coleman, this part of the logic, the first part, there's basically, what's the logic, tell me here?
Well, the first one tells you it's fast.
Right, so basically, if I have two SMAs, right, if one crosses above, what should I do?
Enter long.
Enter long, and it means what? Have the computer what? Buy. And if it crosses below, enter short. Now, did we make, Nick, did we make money on our shorts for the BA?
No.
No. But did we make money on our longs?
Yes.
Yes. So if we wanted to very simply just take our longs, what would we do then, Nick? Theoretically, what would we do in this logic?
You'd get rid of the short section?
Yes, rid of the short section. And say when it was above, just enter the longs and don't worry about shorting. What I wanted to show you, Alex, is this is kind of the idea. This is very simplified, but this is what they're doing in these when they say they're doing those trading strategies. It's putting the logic. And whether these are doing any better than the markets or any of the others are going to the broker, maybe a lot of people are better off going to those brokers or investing in a mutual fund or just investing in the Dow or the S&P 500, and that's it. And let me relax. And a lot of people don't want to bother, but there are, so you understand here that this is being done in automating, and then when you think about a lot of times when the system goes down quite a bit, that it may be that a lot of people are using the same type of algorithms to get me out. So I can put in a way in which I don't want to lose as much money. Now, we also talked about, remember I talked about that statement? Where was that? So the exam will be March 5th. The week before, we'll spend time reviewing. We'll go over those chapters. We have chapter 5 that I have before. And then what I want to do, let me get here. Is I've asked you to read these two, right? Blockchain. Did you read those? what is blockchain, the most disruptive task here? So you can see here. So did you read that, Faith?
Yes, we couldn't find the questions though that you,
These, right here in the table of contents.
it was like a list of, you had like a list of questions last week.
Yeah, right here.
Oh, those are.
Okay. Of what is blockchain? What does blockchain do? How secure is blockchain? Public versus private blockchain. What's the difference between a public versus a private blockchain? Who can tell me? Blake, what do you think?
I forgot the specific like terminology.
But
Yeah,
in
the-
general.
The private, like in a public blockchain, everyone needs to verify the legitimacy of the transaction, whereas like in the private, only one user has to like approve the transaction.
Okay. This is what the difference is. Public is open to everyone. So Bitcoin. Whoever heard of Bitcoin invested? I had a couple of people even tried to play around with it, right? Bitcoin public or private?
Public,
Public. Why?
because I was able to buy some.
Right. It's basically open to everyone. Everyone, it's going to be immutable. Immutable means what?
Can't be erased.
Can't be erased. Beautiful. I'm going to have immutable. It's going to be, the ledger, it's going to be what? What's so unique about the ledger? It's distributed, my ledger, but I'm going to have then, it's going to be peer-to-peer, and it's open. Yes.
When you say your ledger is distributed, what does that mean?
I have, basically, let's think about it now. You have a bank account?
Yes.
You have, what's in your bank account? You have a certain amount of money. When you withdraw, who holds that ledger in the bank, right? It's between you and the bank, right? You go to whatever bank it is, let's say Citibank or Bank of America, you open up an account, right? It's between you and what? And the bank. And then, now you're gonna pay me. Right, I'm a vendor of yours, you're gonna pay me, right? So you're gonna have to pass money through you. Where is that general ledger? Where is that stored? Between the bank, you and me.
Why-
Hold on,
Why would companies?
hold on, let me just answer. So where is it gonna be stored?
You said between, like, the three of us.
Yeah, where's the ledger gonna be stored?
Oh, the three, like, am I supposed to pick one?
That's what I'm asking. Or is it distributed, or where is the ledger?
I guess it's distributed.
Where's the ledger?
I don't know.
In the bank.
So is.
Wait a minute, let me just say, before I get into all the questions, where is the bank? Where's the ledger?
Wouldn't it be with the bank?
It's with the bank, right? The bank has that, right, on its own, and what happens many times, so it's not distributed, it's held by the bank. You have your own accounting system. Where is it stored? With you. I have my own accounting system, it's stored with me. So in the distributed ledger, that ledger goes along with each of those blocks. Is it efficient? No. But the idea is, in terms of trust, it's a way in which people are taking out that intermediary part for that public, and then it's going to be distributed. It goes along, so there are multiple copies of that ledger that goes along. And then it gets, in that case, auditing, accounting will change in that blockchain technology. And let me just give you another side to it. This technology is very new. It's like in its infancy stage. So the world isn't going to change completely on this blockchain, but there's a number of companies that if they do a number of transactions, let me give you an example for shipping. All those shipping containers, when they have to go through all those sources to communicate with 300 different sources, intermediaries along the way, blockchain technology, people are looking at it. IBM is working with the major container system. You saw that if you read through this. You can see here blockchain and fintech, blockchain, and energy, a number of ones, blockchain for healthcare. So people are looking at, for a number of transactions, I need that security. And in this case, that one is public. Now let me go to the private. Anybody ever hear in banking KYC? Put it in your notes if you haven't heard of it. KYC. It's essential. Sometimes you'll see also, so look it up, KYC in banking and AML. Tell me what you find. AML. There's so many acronyms. And what I want to make sure is not that you go, Alex, to a party and say, I know all these acronyms, but we understand what is the concept behind it. So what did we find? Nick?
KYC is know your customer.
Know your customer. And this came out of basically strong rules after 9/11, after, the planes went into the towers in New York City. People were, America said, well, hey, what's happening here? And they say, funding of terrorism and things like that. What happened is a number of dictators, basically, they want to take their money, and what do they want to do? Put it into banks and then hide the money and so forth. So banks are worldwide are under regulations that say, if you're going to open up an account, and this is what we were talking about before, Cara, is that if you want to open up a bank in whatever, XYZ Bank or Bank America or Citibank, what do they ask you for? They ask you for some identification. They want to know who you are, right? That they don't want you to, you remember how she was talking about mules? They don't want you to be a mule, right? Taking some money, or basically from one of those dictators from the past, from Chile, or some of these drug dealers from Mexico, to be able to put in their account. So they have this thing called KYC. So if I have like KYC, banks are interested in blockchain technology. Would they want an open blockchain that for anonymous? You think they wouldn't? But could the bank, that bank technology, could the blockchain help them to be more efficient? It could. So what they're setting up in the banking sector is they're setting up blockchains. But it's know your customer, and that know your customer will be secure. And guess what? All your identification, think about your passport numbers, your birth certificates, all of that of who I am can be stored on the blockchain, and then I can be assured that it was there. One thing about Miami, I'll maybe have the FBI come in, not to arrest you, but I'll have them come in to talk about it, that we are the fraud capital of the world. We wanted to be something of the world, right? I didn't actually want to be the fraud capital of the world, but in healthcare, in money laundering. Have anybody seen Brickell? But I mean, every year when you look at Brickell, I mean, it's just booming there. You're wondering who's in Brickell there. What are they doing? I mean, we're not what are we producing here in Miami? Part of it is, all those funds coming from where? Who knows where they're coming, right? And who knows what's happening? And what about the prices of real estate? What's the prices of why is it going so high there? The average person they can't afford those millions of all those properties there. So the idea here is this blockchain. I wanted you to make sure this is a great article. The one that I had, the third article, go back and read through it and be able to answer these questions. When you're asking, beautiful Faith, when you're asking where are those questions, this is where those questions are. And aren't they important? And why I want you to do this for you is that this is the up and coming area. Did you see it in the book? No. That's why I'm sharing it with you, because this is where you can think about it, and any industry that it's going. Is it part of it a bubble? Yes. Is it overhyped? Yes. But I think beyond that, this is my opinion, beyond that there's essence in here. It's almost like taking everything. It's almost like in the very beginning of the internet. You want to hear something funny?
Yeah.
Might as well. I was at, this was at the very, very beginning, when the internet was just starting. And I met this person at a conference that I was speaking at, and we became friendly. His name was Harley Hahn. He changed his name. He liked the name Harley from the motorcycle. And he was a medical student, and then he liked computers so much he dropped out of medical school and he went to get a computer science degree, and then he started writing books on operating systems. OS is an operating system. What operating systems do you know?
iOS.
iOS, what else?
Windows.
Windows, what else?
IBM. No.
We're going to throw out, what else?
Android.
Android,
Yeah.
right. What else? There's something else called, up and upstairs? Linux. What's Linux? Anybody hear of Linux? Write it in your notes. What's Linux? Linux is an operating system. Who's heard of it? Yes, what do you know, Brittany?
I don't remember much when we had it in the lab computers at our high school.
Okay, but what is it?
It's just like Windows essentially.
It's an operating system which is what they call open source. All the other operating systems are closed, meaning that you can't modify it. Linux is an operating system that can be modified. And if it's open source, how much do you think it costs? Think about me.
Open, free.
Open free. Free, remember the Psycho free, right? The same thing. When you think about the Psycho, right? Steam.com at the Psycho is free. So basically this is free. So this person wrote these books on Linux. It was very esoteric. It wasn't like the average reading you came up. So in the very beginning of the internet, when it was just even like hardly a browser out there, nobody knew about it, he called me on the phone. That's when people actually talked on the phone. And he didn't text me or anything. He called me on a phone, a landline I think it was, and he says, you know, he goes, I got a really good book deal. It's not one of those esoteric. And he goes, I'd like you to write the foreword to it. You know, you speak a lot. And guess what the book was?
What?
It was the yellow pages of the internet.
What does
And
that mean?
that means he took the internet. There were so few websites out there at the time. You remember there was a way in which people used to look at yellow pages to find telephone numbers? He created a book this big that was yellow. And he had a great, he was very funny. He took by categories, like you wanted on cooking or you wanted on parenting or there were so few websites, he went and reviewed every website he thought that was good and he wrote it up in a book.
Wow.
That was before Google. He was the first one that sold over 2 million copies.
This guy's awesome.
And he was living like in a one-bedroom apartment, and then he ended up buying this nice house on the beach in Santa Barbara. So from this thing, and he got like version 1 and version 2. Then came, up to this thing, Google and so forth. So he didn't have any more books. But why I'm telling you that story is this is what blockchain is from that time. So it's basically at the very, very beginning of the time where people are playing around, getting excited about all the books, and all the things and all the ICOs, and there's going to be a bubble, but out of that is real technology. And what I wanted to do is, you can see here, is anytime that I have many transactions, I want security, I can have it, and in the private ones, I still can know who the customer is. So you understand that, Blake? So what I can have here is on the private ones, I can know the customers and make them aware of it. It doesn't need to be anonymous, and it doesn't mean like, who were the first users of the Bitcoin were all, you know, the drug dealers and the gun runners, everything, because they said, hey, it's anonymous. But the idea here, in terms of the anonymity, you don't need to have it. So this is the public versus the private. These are what I want you to do is look at the blockchains and fintech, look at that. So a question for your exam could be, for instance, what does blockchain do? And then talk about blockchain in one of those industries, for instance, in fintech, and how it is and what are the implications. So those are examples. Great question you were asking me, Faith, is look at those. Those are great for, I think this article really did. And then you can even listen to this in terms of that part. Okay? Questions? So what I want to do is which groups have not completed the NinjaTrader programs? This group 1, what else? What other group? 2, 3, 4. All of you then, for those. So what I'm going to do now is twofold. Is actually then come back, is what I wanted you to do now is Alex and Ali, stay with me and I'll work out what your issues are. The others, who got it to work? Okay, I got William and who else? Did you get yours to work? Yeah, let's see. You're NinjaTrader.
Yeah, I did it.
You did it as well. And then you got yours to work too? Brittany, who's in your group?
Brian and Brianna.
Okay. And then you got it to work too? Okay. So one of the things here is let's do this. Priscilla and Estelle, who's in your group?
Lexi,
Is she here?
yeah,
Hmm?
I think so.
She's here now?
I think she was. Yes, I think she left a while ago.
Okay. So can you just move over here, Brittany? And we can do that, and let's do this, or just move over here. I want to go through this, and maybe we can go together. We can go to the lab, and we can at least see if it's working.
Yeah, well, I don't have time right now.
Okay, but
We can do it like
let's do it in the lab.
tomorrow maybe.
Yeah, tomorrow in the lab, and then email me back on what the issues are. Okay? And then I'll stay with you for a second just to find out now. Let's do it now with the computers. We can set that up.
Yeah, I'm leaving on Friday morning. So we can meet Wednesday. I'm free on Wednesday. I'm gonna meet. But I can't think of someone. I keep forgetting to get you this. Yeah.
Okay, so you know what? Can you take it in here?